ओके, हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम। हमारे साथ हैं आज उस्मान हैदर डोगर, जिन्होंने लास्ट 15 years, before 15 years he was working in Pakistan military as an officer, military officer, and after that from 2006 onwards he is working in United Nations, and his main domain is governance elections, and he is the great political analyst, and he write articles on United Nations platform. So uh, hello, assalamu alaikum, Sir Heather.
Ji, Walaikum Salam. How are
Welcome,
you?
sir.
Thank you.
I'm excited to do podcast with you, and I'm very glad to have you. First of all, sir, and I congratulate you on this great craft of your work, which you have done for Pakistan, and as well as you are represented Pakistan on international organization with very grace and with dignity. So we congratulate you. And how are you, sir?
Good, I'm fine. Thank you for the kind words.
It's my
And I'm
pleasure.
sure it will be interactive session and whatever through my experience I would be able to communicate to your audience. It would be my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. So today our topic is during this pandemic we are seeing the economic condition. Like as you have worked in like your main domain is governance as well as political affairs, so you know the Pakistan political condition, and most of all the very important thing is the economic situation, economic scenario during this pandemic and before this pandemic. So, sir, my first question is that what can be policy to enhance economic condition in terms of पाकिस्तान इन टर्म्स ऑफ स्पेशली सर उन लोग ओवरसीज लोगों के बारे में जो इस पेंडेमिक के दौरान भी आए हैं और आफ्टर दिस पेंडेमिक और अभी भी लाइक स्टिल लोग आ रहे हैं पाकिस्तान में और उसकी जो एंड इट हैज़ अ वेरी लार्ज नंबर, इट हैज़ अ वेरी डेंस पॉपुलेशन विच इज़ कमिंग बैक टू पाकिस्तान। तो सर उसके हवाले से आप क्या recommend करेंगे? What you will be suggested, what Pakistan policy should be, how we can enhance the economic condition in terms of, और अगर वो यहाँ पर आ जाते हैं तो what will be, what about the remittances which we receive?
Sure.
Yes.
Before going to your first part of the question, let me start with the end about the remittance. Roughly, there are $19 billion per annum which Pakistan receives from overseas. So, which is almost 5% of the GDP of Pakistan. So
Okay.
now with the current pandemic and the impact of this pandemic, which is felt across the world, even the super duper economies of the world like US, China, even Germany, UK, everybody is feeling the impact of this pandemic. There are huge job losses. Many people are going into depression. There are
Yes.
people who are losing jobs. There are people who are losing health. And all these combined impact of these factors are impacting in the overall life of the people. So we are also part of the world, so we are not different. We were already suffering from the economic downturn for the last couple of years because of our huge debts which we had taken from international organizations like World Bank, IMF, and then we know that these organizations has been twisting us a right way or wrong way in different areas where sometimes you had to increase your electricity bills, you have to increase your some taxations which impact on the overall life of the general public. Now
Yes.
coming to specifically the overseas Pakistanis, as I mentioned that $19 billion used to come back to Pakistan through the official channels. So you can imagine there'll be some unofficial remittance as well coming back to Pakistan. Now, if I talk about only two countries, UAE and Saudi Arabia, we have around 1.6 million people in UAE and 2.4 million people plus in Saudi Arabia. These are the officially registered people. The money we are receiving from these two countries over $8 billion.
Okay.
And now for the last couple of weeks, you might have seen the number of passengers who are returning are mostly from these two countries. And then, of course, the students which had gone to Europe and other part of the world, as soon as their visas will be expired, I'm sure they'll be returning back to the
Yeah,
home
sure.
country.
Yeah.
So now the situation arises that one, already there is a looming economy and Pakistan is suffering a lot.
Yes.
Secondly, this pandemic is affecting us. So what needs to be done? So that's basically the dilemma which all the decision makers and the policy makers need to think about. Uh, while we always criticize the government, there are some good things as well, which probably are not being highlighted. And being close to some of the circles, I can proudly say that almost a month back, in the month of May, as we were discussing few weeks ago, that I, along with one of my colleagues, Asmat, we wrote a paper on the overseas Pakistanis and how the impact will be when these people would be coming back to Pakistan, and what Pakistan should be doing and how the policies should be. And one of the recommendations I recall we made that as soon as the people land in Pakistan in any of the airport, there should be a one performer which should indicate name, designation, area of expertise, his district, his home location, and his area of interest, what exactly he would be interested to do while he is in Pakistan. And luckily, I came across one of the, somebody shared with me that link, and when I opened, so I was happily surprised to know that, the recommendation which we gave through Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Razak Daud, that was actually implemented.
Okay.
So that's a positive sign. And I think if they go on from that, when they make the database, the opportunities arise in different parts of the world. When you exactly know, like if you need electrician for certain country, and in your database, you know exactly how many electricians have returned from overseas. And now with the CPAC, likely chances are that the money is going to come. They had announced CPAC second phase, this railway, $7.62 billion. So what's going to happen? The skilled labor which has come back from outside,
Yes.
that could be utilized in-house,
As
one,
well as
as well as outside. The Amar Bhasha Dam we are talking about,
yes.
of course, some of, already there are people who are unemployed within Pakistan. So I'm not saying employ all the overseas Pakistanis, but wherever they can be beneficial, these people can be employed. So that is one part of it.
Yeah.
Now coming to the second part,
And it is a very
you know,
positive and very productive part. Like it's an excellent point for Pakistan that experts are coming in terms of either they are electrician or either they are engineer. So they are coming. So Pakistan has a great opportunity to to learn from
to
those
tap on
experts and
exactly.
to create opportunities and to create jobs for
Sure.
them as well
So
as
these are,
for the people in Pakistan also.
yeah. So these are basically the people who have the vast experience across the globe. So the only thing which is needed is the implementation of the recommendations which we gave. And as I said, that some of the recommendations the government has already started implementing. And one of those recommendations was that there should be a full-fledged organization at the federal level with the trickle-down effect up to the district level. So the DCOs in the respective districts, the political figures, and all other stakeholders, they should be able to facilitate. It should be a one window operation for these overseas returnees. If they want to open up some company, it should not happen that, again, he's facing that uh, typical bureaucratic hurdles which all of us face, I'm sure, those who live in Pakistan, unlike me.
Yes.
and they have to bribe and all that stuff. So if the government can cut down those hurdles, at least people would feel safe that, if they want to do something, their investment will be secured. Second, they will be motivated. Third, they have the connections from where they have come back. So based on those connections, they can connect their goods, their services, and their vision to those markets from where they have returned. That is one angle to it. The second angle is not all the laborers are coming back. There
Yes.
are some really, really very highly qualified youngsters who had completed their education because of the lack of jobs in those countries. They would also be coming back. So they have even the money. Their parents have sent them to UK or US or anywhere to study. I'm sure spending 5, 10 million rupees or even 20 million rupees to help them to start some small, medium enterprises business will not be a problem for those parents or those loved ones who can always assist them. So that's another untapped area where we can work and help our economy to revive. So now the major issue is to accommodate in-house unemployment and to accommodate overseas people who had returned. You know, your economy should be between 6 to 10%. So that is the minimum threshold we need to have to achieve that goal. But probably already, it's 1%, 2%, or 2 point
Yes.
something. So the economy is already looming. So these are the challenges probably which government as well as the academia and those think tanks who are working to facilitate the government should sooner than later try to bridge this gap and try to motivate people and create business friendly environment so that some kind of taxation, some kind of reforms in the laws. And if you want to attract overseas investors, you might have to open up 5 years or 10 years tax-free zones like Indonesia has done now, while US is moving from China. So they have given a vast land to US companies for next 10 years, tax-free zones. So those companies who are coming from China will be given land, will be given the cheapest electricity, plus they have opened up so many vocational training centers in those areas so that they can train their people, those who will be working in those factories in next 1 to 2 years when they'll be established. So thinking out of the box solutions can actually help the country to revive the economy as well as to help these people to create some kind of income. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
all I have to say on this
Exactly, sir.
particular.
And sir, for this, like over foreign policy, over like especially over domestic policy, and as well as like there should be the accountability. It requires a lot of accountability on this work, because there is the like we are stuck in this debate that there is a tussle between recently we have critically worked on 18 amendment, which was about decentralization, that power should be there should be provincial power, there should be the local government should also active. So sir, here we are in a stuck in this tussle that either the power should be centralized or either the power should be divided, like there should be so sir, the narrative which you told, the facts you have told, so this should be implemented. Of course, this should be implemented, and it can be implemented through accountability as well as the like domain of powers.
The accountability should be across the board, starting from the top up to the bottom. May it be the
Yes,
prime minister, or may it be the simple guy who is working in any of the office. So there is no doubt about the accountability, about the implementation of the rule of law.
yes,
That is the basis for development of any democracy, I would say. Now, whether it is decentralized governance or it is centralized governance. Of course, the decentralized model is mostly promulgated and promoted by the United Nations. So probably every country has its own needs and its own what you can say situations where it has to tailor made the democratic norms and cultures, whether they need to adopt the centralized model or decentralized model. So like China is growing a lot, so they don't have this decentralized model. So there are different models of democracy
But sir,
across the
Pakistan
globe,
has.
but
But sir,
China is
Pakistan.
one of the leading economy in the world.
Yes.
So added it. Anyway, what I was saying is different part of the world has different models. I'll not go into details whether Pakistan should uh, continue with the 18th Amendment or Pakistan should not. I'm sure the decision makers would be in a better position
So
whether.
every country has its own. For your clarification as well as for the viewers' clarification right now, who will be watch this podcast and who will be benefit from, of course, your this from this podcast. So for like every country has its own culture. China has its own ancient civilization where there was the like there is like a semi-democracy or some parliamentarian or like there is like monarch, and Pakistan has is 75 years old. Pakistan is 75. So subcontinent has different civilization as well as different culture. So culture decides the which type of politics will held in Pakistan. And Pakistan is a democratic country because Pakistan is the most diverse country all over the world, like this subcontinent, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh. So Pakistan right now is based on there is militants and as well as there is religious politics and there is like military intervention in every area and every facet of life due to some political history, due to some like if we see recent in the history, so what our Democrats do and what our politicians do and what like in democratic era they become um, autocratic and autocratic become democratic, and there was a lot of intervention between like there is always the tussle between democratic or military, and people mindset are very different here because army is the like playing like the macho role in the eyes of people. The ignorant masses, the ignorant people are not aware of what is the culture of democracy, and they will be like but here from last years the democratic culture has prevailed. Now people ask questions, now people do debate, now people think that oh, where we are heading towards, who is running this Pakistan, who is there to lead us. So people, because 65% population are the young adult, the young blood, fresh young blood here in life in the Pakistan. So they all are very intelligent and vibrant people. So they know that what is happening and what should be in Pakistan. So democracy is the only answer in every. See UK, see USA, like democracy is the only answer, like they are the pioneers, like united Europe is the pioneer of democracy. So Pakistan is the where the diversity, where it is the most diverse country of all over the world, Pakistan and India, this subcontinent, where like here more than 5 ethnicities live there, and in India there are more than 17 ethnicities live there. So this is the that there are multicolors, multi-shaded, multi-languages, multi-ethnics. So in most diverse country, democracy is the only answer. So democracy culture has already prevailed here, but our mindset has been changed now from over the year, from last over the years, and that's why people are very conscious about the like everybody loves to talk in about politics. Either the way the other thing is different. Either it is negative or positive, or either it is constructive or deconstructive. That is another thing. But the people are very much interested in the politics of the country, especially youth. Like because there are more youth organizations in Pakistan. There are like youth parliament in Pakistan. So here, young energy, young blood is very active. So we are very positive about the future of Pakistan, and you type of people with you, uh, like uh, like I'm really very excited. I'm really feel privileged to talk with you, like who is working in the United Nations and representing Pakistan from over the years, and like you are the asset of for our Pakistan. You type of thinkers, you type of analysts set the foundation of this of the future for the future of this country, and we all young people look up towards you type of people. That so with so we all people here and all the other people who are working for Pakistan outside, with all cooperation, we can lead Pakistan towards a better future, better democratic future. So democracy is the only answer in Pakistan. Then, sir, my
Look,
second question, yes, sir.
sure. Yeah, please go ahead. Actually, I just want to have a quick comment on it. I never said that we don't need democracy. Of course, democracy is the answer, but democracy with accountability.
Yes, democracy is important.
Unfortunately, there is a fashion prevailing in my country that one thing you should know that the institutions, uh, those who are working effectively and efficiently, sometimes they are being criticized just for nothing because of their own hatred of certain circles of the society. So, and then of course, there are foreign funding, sometimes there are issues and stuff like that. I don't want to go into details of that. But of course, the answer is democracy. We need democracy. We need to flourish it. But then at the same time, we need to have a strict accountability. And we'll have to see that, those people who has plundered the money, were they brought to justice? If
Yes,
somewhere the answer is no, that's where people need to think. That's what people should be questioning basically, and alongside other people who interfere. So that's where I just wanted to make a quick clarification. So please move on.
okay. And sir, how? My second question is how Pakistan can improve its security concerns and health. Like after this pandemic, whole world focuses shift towards health and like security. So how Pakistan can improve its situation and along with democracy?
Look, the thing is, Pakistan is facing, multi-pronged threats. Sometime it is, from our eastern border. We know, I don't have to name it, but we always know there is a threat to Pakistan. But then on the western border, like Afghanistan, for the last couple of years, you might have seen this Taliban and these people coming, and then the influx of that. And then I think Pakistan is one of those countries who have successfully curtailed that threat and not only controlled it, but also they have improved upon their existing policies, their foreign policy, their military strategy. But if you look at Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, the countries which has the weak army basically have diminished from the globe of the world. So having a strong army, having strong institutions to counter these kind of security threats is also the need of the hour. So while you need to develop your political institutions, your governance institutions, your democratic institutions, you cannot compromise on the security of the country. But sometimes, it's very surprising for me when we hear that, people say 70% of the budget is spent on the
Yes,
army.
army.
And unfortunately, it's such a illusion which people don't even realize. They don't even Google. If you just Google the last 10 years budget of the army, you will not find it more than 18 to 19%. 18 to 19%. So where is 70? Where is 18 to 19? So that is again a misconception in the minds of the people, because there is a certain group of so-called pseudo-intellectuals whose target is just to tarnish the image of your security institutions,
Yes.
one way or the other. So that is again for the viewers, I would like to clarify. Just see the latest article of Dr. Farag Salim, or even go to the Google. You will search it, see the budgets of last 10 years budget of Pakistan, or even the last 15 years budget of Pakistan. You will not see the figures more than 19 to 20%. That's all. But since I was born, we have been hearing that, the money spent on the military is over 70%. It's a
Yes.
huge
Amount.
misconception in the mind of the people.
Yes.
So that's how I think we need to continue strengthening our security institutions, but at the same time we have to balance up that how we can promote and take forward the democracy.
Okay, sir. But sir, right now in the current scenario where everything is shifted towards health, and as at the same time, like people are asking that, entrepreneurs are talking about that, what should be the future? Either authoritarian regime will emerge, or like either democracy will be there. Uh, whatever the
I
whatever the
think I
shade.
think the solution is democracy.
Okay.
I would never ever support or promote that authoritarian regime is needed. Only thing I would say is some strong decisions. You know, if you recall, the first martial law administrator in Pakistan was Zulfikar Ali Bhutto.
Yes.
Probably he was a political leader. He was not from the army.
Yes.
So when the elected prime minister need to take some strict decisions, he should be able to do that. So it's not necessary that you need some military dictator to come and take over the country and stuff like that. Needs of the health across the globe has increased. Of course, we need to build on our capacities, and government need to divert some of the funds and stuff like that. And even the World Health Organization, UNICEF, all these UN agencies are already supporting government of Pakistan to tackle this pandemic.
Okay, sir. Sir, my third question is, due to this pandemic, where Pakistan stands and at global scenario, like at global level, and how it can be improved.
Look, I think while discussing the first question, I had answered this, that globally, where do we stand? Because we are not living in isolation, we are part of the global world.
Global world.
And being part of the global world, we are also impacted in the similar way.
Yes, but
And,
sir, here is
and
the
the best
point.
economies of the world, okay, the best economies of the world, like as you have seen, UK, US, one, our health system was already weak, but their health system was one of the best systems. But you have seen how those best systems even could not cope up with this pandemic. So here I would advise the people, uh, yes, you can always criticize the government, their policies and stuff, but always see in comparison to. There are 120 million people in India who are jobless. There are various sectors where the people are not being paid their salaries, even within the government sectors.
Yes.
I was talking to one of my Indian colleagues. So, and we know what our situation was. In this global pandemic era, my only humble submission would be, yes, you can criticize the government, you can criticize their policies, but do some little bit of analysis and see the people within the region, I mean the countries,
Yes.
how this pandemic has impacted them, and how your
In that
government has
context, I'm
also
asking.
tried to tackle this pandemic within their meager resources. So already your economy was shrinking. The global economy will shrink 3% as per the World Bank report. So if the global economy is shrinking 3%, so you can well imagine, number of unemployed people in the US are over 14 million. I think even now it would have crossed 40 million. I'm talking about 2 weeks back when I was going through the statistics.
So
So
regard,
yes, it has impacted. It will impact Pakistan. I was going through a seminar from the Harvard Business School on the artificial intelligence, and based on the data analysis, what they had come up at the end of March was next epicenter of corona would be India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. You know, when I wrote my first post on it, people were saying, "Oh, this is the disease of the rich people. This is not going to come to Pakistan. Do you know any of your relative who is being impacted by this?" So these were the kind of questions people were still asking. And now I think every second house, every second street
is
is being
affected by this.
infected, is
Yes.
affected by it, and you can see with I mean July even up to mid of August, this will be terrible. Still, if people will not realize, they'll not take precautions, things will be extremely, extremely terrible. So this is, I would say, if one word I have to say to your audience, that would be please exercise caution. This is
Yes.
real. Corona is real. Young people are dying because of this disease. Of course, it is impacting more on the old people, but different people have different immunities.
Immunity level.
Now is the time to save your lives, your livelihoods, your economy, all those things will be able to revive. But if you are not,
There,
then nothing. Yeah.
then
So
nothing is.
health is the, yeah. So that's what I have to say.
Okay. Sir, as you said that 40 million people have lost their jobs in America. So, as being an United Nation, as being an analyst in United Nation, so what is America future regarding to like this scenario, this whole
Look,
scenario, economic scenario, and as well as racism issue has been also raised in
look.
whole in all
I
over
would
the globe.
uh, before you move on to this question, I think let's focus on to Pakistan, because this way, if we keep going, we will not be able to cover all our questions, because
Okay.
our primary priority is that how we can help to improve our systems, health system, education system, governance system.
Sir, I'm
So let's
asking about
focus on.
America. I'm asking about America in this regard because America is the first world country. He is the
Mhm.
America is the superpower. So, sir, all the countries like imagine that it is like the heaven. So we can't
Mhm.
imagine there that they have the also their people also have the normal lives, or like their people also have unemployment issues, or like these racism issues which have been raised last months in all over the world. So all the countries look
Mhm.
up to America for any sustainability, for any development in any sector of the life. That's why I'm asking, and it is very important to ask because first world countries who take action to combat their issues and crises, of course other countries will also can also follow that. So in this context I'm asking.
So look, if you want to combat corona, I think you have the best example. Number
Not
one,
just
China.
corona, not just corona, economic crisis.
Number two, yes, I'm coming to that as well.
Okay.
So you have your neighbors who managed to control it very well.
Okay.
China controlled it long ago because of
Okay.
their super duper precautions. Then
Okay.
you have South Korea. Then
Okay.
you have Singapore. You
Yeah.
have New
Taiwan.
Zealand. The
Okay.
people who had actually controlled this pandemic.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is obvious. Everyone knows that how this pandemic has impacted on the US. Their economies, of course, it's in a very shabby position. So if they could not assist their people, you can well imagine that how a poor country like Pakistan would be able to counter the impacts of this pandemic. So it
Right.
is extremely difficult. This is what people need to realize and understand.
Okay. Okay. So what will be the impact of the pandemic at the globe in every facet of life, and what UN especially can play a role into it to improve
You
this
know, the
situation?
thing is, uh, it's over 200 now different parts. I mean, officially 192 countries are part of the uh, UN General Assembly, and but there are 200 plus territories, small islands who have been already been infected by this corona. United Nations, especially the World Health Organization, UNICEF, UNFPA, and different UN country teams had been helping people across the globe. As I said, even within Pakistan, these UN agencies had been helping to build the health capacities, even to help uh, the education capacities of the different countries of the world so that they can cope up with it. But of course, because the new challenge is that it's the time of technology. Like today, if you don't have Zoom, if just for your info and for the info of the audience, Zoom has suddenly reached, rather crossed over $45 billion annual assets within last 6 months. So this much has been tremendous growth for the Zoom. It's one application. You know, the guy who would have developed this application would never ever had thought that how things would be. Now, if you want to teach your kids, like you need to have the laptops, the desktops for each kid separately, because otherwise they won't be able to. Like my kids are attending school for the last 3 months, so now all of a sudden, luckily, because my wife is also a UN staff and works for the, she's from the IT side. There were
Okay.
many applications even I could not help my kids. You know, that is a new challenge which
Yeah.
parents would feel. And even, I mean, the schools were not even prepared. Do they have those technologies, those softwares, so that they can continue the schooling of the people? So that is a global challenge. Now, those IT experts, which, you know, we used to think working in our offices giving us IT support, since we started working globally, I mean remotely, there were not even 50% people who could actually assist. So the super duper organizations are also facing these kind of issues. So what is the outcome? The outcome is change your way of working, learn new skills.
Learn new
And
skills.
IT skill is the basic skill, which will
Yes.
be the need of the hour. May it be the education, may it be the health, may it be the business, whatever you want to do, if you are not upscaled or upgraded as per the new challenging environment of the world, you will be left behind. Only those people will be in the job, will be in the business, who will be having a good IT skills. So that's the new norm of the business. That's the new
Normal.
working arrangement for the people.
Yes. So IT is the only solution for the upcoming challenges in the whole world. Because after this post-pandemic, the world has been digitalized and on automation stage before, and during this during this pandemic, we all, like connecting, we all doing businesses, we all doing podcasts on these applications and on these digital world. We all are connected through this. Even right now, I'm talking through this digital application. So
Yeah, so this application has, I mean, how many hundred times it has increased its revenue. So it's not that every industry is going down. There are industries which are, you know, even benefiting, like home delivery. Those people who started home delivery much earlier, those companies, you know, they are making a lot of money. Even the
So
people who are into
chances are very much
making
higher in
masks and this kind of stuff.
chances
Hmm?
are very much higher
Yes.
in IT field, in digital world, and people have to learn the skills regarding to this.
Yes. Yeah, even we can assist remotely, like the India had been doing to most of the US based, UK based, Europe based companies. They were outsourcing their help desk kind of stuff. This, like, something when people call for 1122, you know, these kind of services. So they were kind of outsourced to India. Why not Pakistan can come up with those skills? Our people are equally capable and competent, and they can
Yes.
do it. Why not?
So
So these are the areas we need to focus.
right now in this pandemic, sir, there are lots of entrepreneurs come on front where they, like they create and they innovative new jobs and new businesses for upcoming generation and for themselves. But here is the lack of जब तक हम इन न्यू एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए और इवन जो प्रेजेंट एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं जो लास्ट 20 ईयर्स से 15 ईयर्स से जो like they are doing a wonderful job in Pakistan. So उनके लिए भी सर अब we have recognized them और ये जो न्यू जो like एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं जो अभी रिसेंट इस पेंडेमिक में अपीयर हुए हैं तो सर उनके लिए जब तक गवर्नमेंट जो है वो एक इकोसिस्टम इको नेटवर्क नहीं बनाएगी तब तक ना वो फ्लरिश कर सकते हैं ना वो ग्रो कर सकते हैं और ना ही वो दूसरों को फैसिलिटेट कर सकते हैं तो इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट को और जो प्राइवेट फर्म्स हैं और जो हमारे मेयर्स हैं हमारे जो लाइक रिच पीपल हैं जो इन लोगों को फैसिलिटेट कर सकते हैं जो इन लोगों के लिए इन लोगों का कोलैबोरेशन इज द ओनली की टू to flourish this network, to support this network. तो सर जब तक ये लोग आपस में cooperate नहीं, when these people like either they are the government people or either they are private firm people or either they are some rich people, when they will not support each other on this, especially on regarding to this issue, to support the new entrepreneurs where they are creating, where they are saving businesses, where they are creating new like avenues, new podiums to reach out to people for some services or for some benefiting the for their future. So I think support and collaboration is the only answer which pandemic we have learned in this pandemic, because everybody has this mindset in the whole world before this pandemic that the world, it is the survival of the fittest. That's why we all need chaos, we all face chaos, have chaos right now at the whole globe. But after this pandemic, I think scenario has now been changed, and during this pandemic we all have seen that cooperation and collaboration at every level, at every facet of life is the key, is the answer of every solution, every challenge.
I fully agree with you, and taking it forward, I would say that what people need to do is don't become mafias. New entrepreneurs has come. If you might have seen anything, we came to know that this thing can help to cure corona. The prices increase. One tablet, one of the doctor, she sent me that it was 25 rupees.
Yeah.
That has reached to 3,500 rupees.
Yes.
Same way, I mean, please make money. Nobody is going to stop you, but be human first. So if it is a catastrophic condition for the whole country, for the whole world, don't take benefit out of this. Make your genuine profit what you need to make, but don't make your profit out of the lives of the people. I really feel pity, Even like I'm here in Nairobi, believe you me, I have not seen these people increasing the prices. The way I'm hearing every day from my home country. They have been exercising precaution. The first case of Kenya was somewhere start of March. In Pakistan was 26th of February. They are still at 4,000 and we are 175,000. Can you believe? Bazaars were open whole day. People were going. Yes, restaurants and schools were closed here. But rest, they did not stop anything. People had taken precaution. People has observed social distancing. The government has ensured, and people also realize that they are not going to make money out of this crisis. It's the normal. I mean, commodities are almost at the same price. There is hardly change in any household items. And you look at what we people are doing, and we are the believers. We are the Muslims.
Yes.
What our Prophet has said and done. And this is what the second Caliph, Hazrat Umar, has done. When he became the Caliph, he went to the market.
Yeah.
He checked the prices.
Yeah.
And when he asked, he said the 2 bowls for 1 dinar. He said, how come? It should be at least 4. And he said the people had the choice that they should not buy it. And when he investigated, he came to know that this is the wholesale dealer who does not allow any person to enter Medina, and everything is being purchased outside Medina. So what he did, the Caliph Omar, Raziallahu anhu, He said anyone who want to do business is allowed to come to Medina and he will be the state guest. And from now onwards, you will sell for those bowls per dinar. And then, what happened is he appointed a lady, not a man, to supervise the prices of the market. So that was the governance system given by the second caliph.
And it was the
what
amazing,
will we do
it was the
today?
amazing time in all the, it was the
That's
amazing
the
time
thing.
of governance.
That is the governance system, the police system, the health system, and the rule of law, what was given by the second caliph. Why
Yeah.
can't we? I'm not saying, I'm not blaming here anyone, but all the decision makers, all the responsible peoples, whether these are the merchants, these are the business people, these are the government people. We need whole of a government and whole of people approach, where people should feel the responsibility. They should feel humanity. If you don't have humanity, you don't deserve to do anything and to be called as human being. That's my inner feeling, and sometimes I feel really very agitative to listen and to see the things where we are going. Basically, we are drifting from the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Our Islamic values.
If we are Muslims, we believe in Islam, please read Quran, follow Hadith, and that is where the solution is. The way to happiness is the way of following Quran. So that is the ultimate solution. I'm telling you, people are dying, people are going into depression, and people are committing suicides across the globe. Still, the minimum numbers are within the Muslim world. But that does not qualify that whatever we will keep doing and Allah will forgive us. That's not going to happen.
Amazing, incredible, sir, incredible. And yes, of course, like depression का हल ही सर कुरान पाक है, और हमें तो बल्कि कुरान पाक जब हम तर्जमे के साथ पढ़ते हैं, we translate it, so it just nourishes our soul, it heals our soul, it soothes and calms our minds, and it gives new clarification and new perspective regarding to life, and it just connects to our conscience that what values we have and what values we are following and what we are not following. And as a Muslim, sir, if there is a minimum number in all over the world, so like there are billion of Muslims, like there are in all over the world. So due to Islamic values, as being a Muslim, because Muslim is a human, and Muslim like is all about, Islam is all about humanity. So sir, when as a Muslim we will practice our values, so that values can shift it to other cultures too, and we can benefit from that, like from practicing those values, we can instill those values to other people too, so that they can benefit it. We all are made for this. But जब तक हम उस बात पे अमल नहीं करेंगे, तब तक हम कैसे जो है वो दूसरे लोगों को बेनिफिट कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि हम तो खुद भी इस मुसलमान होते हुए भी इस चीज से बेनिफिट नहीं ले रहे.
That's what you asked me, what would be the solution. So I have given you the solution is learn Quran,
Yes.
teach others, and implement on what Allah has said. If you will implement, you will not take extra profit, you will not become mafia. Everything will become normal, slowly, gradually. So that's the solution. If you're asking me one word, one liner, is go back to the basics.
Okay, sir, हम it was a इसी बात पे ही हम अपना सेशन खत्म करते हैं कि like you have given an incredible answer, sir. I'm very satisfied, and of course our viewers will also be satisfied by it, because जो भी मसले मसाइल हैं, क्राइसिस में ही इंसान अपनी क्रिएटिव पावर्स इस्तेमाल करता है और अपने आप को like इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करता है कि वो पहले किस वैल्यूज पे चल रहा था, वो क्या कर रहा था जिसकी वजह से हम सबको ये चीज़ फेस करनी पड़ी है. और ये लेसन जो है एक आम इंडिविजुअल से लेकर अमेरिका में बैठा हुआ एक पॉलिटिशियन, पाकिस्तान में बैठा हुआ एक पॉलिटिशियन, दुनिया के ऑल अराउंड द ग्लोब कोई भी इंसान किसी भी एरिया में है, वो पॉलिसी मेकर्स हैं, ब्यूरोक्रेट्स हैं, कोई भी है, सर, we all have to sir see our conscience that what we are doing, what we were doing with ourselves, because we are not aligned with ourselves. हम लोग अपने आप के साथ align ही नहीं है. हमारी दिल, हम कहते कुछ और है, करते कुछ और है, और हम लोग like life किसी और उसमें गुजारते हैं, एक delusion में और एक paranoid state में. So it's a very, I'm not saying कि it's a beautiful time, I can't say it, but as a Muslim perspective, जब क्राइसिस का टाइम होता है तब हम लोगों को अपने अंदर झांकने का मौका मिलता है, और एक इंसान अपना इंट्रोस्पेक्शन कर सकता है कि वो क्या कर रहा है और उसने कैसे अपने आप को ठीक करना है. Of course, we have to build compassion, empathy for ourselves. We have to set our values in the light of Quran Pak, as well as Hadith, and other Muslim scholars are also guiding upon every details, everything of the life. So we all should follow it. And now the new normal has come. So the new normal is this. The beauty of the new normal is this: that cooperation is the only key of all the solutions in the world. And first of all, human being, and the very important thing is, before cooperating with each other, first of all, the human being has learned and has to learn to cooperate with themselves, first of all, that where they stand in terms of iman, in terms of coherence, in terms of alignment. Either they are on right paths, either they have the right values, which is good for themselves as well as their community, their country, as well as the whole humanity. Then we can benefit to the other people, the other cultures, and other, we will be capable to talk about it, and we will be able to act upon it. And first of all, we have to re-engineer our minds, because re-engineering our minds is very much important to come on the right path. Otherwise, we are very distracted human being, and this age, this IT age, at the same time, this is a facilitator too, and it is a distractor too. And mostly people don't know how to use the internet and how to come along with the new, new paradigms of the life. And we all lost ourselves in terms of values. So first of all, we have to
Agreed.
re-engineer.
Agreed what you are saying. So
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful time, wonderful discussion,
thank you.
and
Sure.
it is
Nice
like,
talking to you.
thank you, very lovely talking to you as well.
Same here.
I hope we will talk on another issue. Sometimes we will do another podcast too. So someday.
Okay, sure. Take care. Have a nice
Have a
day.
nice day.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Bye.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.